Have you ever given everything you had, your time, your energy, your prayers, your tears, and still felt like abundance was somehow passing you by? Like you were standing at a door that everyone else seemed to walk through so easily, but for you, it simply would not open? If that feeling lives somewhere inside you right now, I want you to know, you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not broken. There are millions of sincere, hardworking, deeply faithful people who carry this exact quiet ache, the ache of trying and still waiting, of hoping and still wondering, of praying and still feeling like something invisible is standing between them and the life they were meant to live. But here is what most people never stop to consider. What if the blockage is not in your effort? What if it is not in your destiny, or your luck, or some cosmic decision that was made without you? What if the blockage is something far more subtle, something living in the very space around you, in the corners of your home, in the air of the rooms where you sleep and work and dream? Ancient wisdom traditions across the world have always known that the space you live in is not just walls and furniture. It is energy. It is memory. It breathes with you, absorbs your fears, holds your worries, and over time, if never cleared, it quietly begins to resist the very abundance you are calling in. Today, we are going to gently change that. Inspired by the timeless teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, we will explore 4 specific places in your home where placing simple, humble salt can help dissolve stagnant energy, shift your inner vibration, and open the door, the one that has felt closed for far too long. Have you ever walked into your own home and felt, without any reason you could explain, that something was just not right? Not something you could point to. Not something broken or missing. Just a feeling, heavy, quiet, and persistent, like the air itself was tired. Many people feel this and never speak of it, because how do you describe a weight that has no name? How do you explain to someone that your home, the place that is supposed to be your sanctuary, sometimes feels like it is pressing down on you instead of holding you up? This is the hidden problem that so many sincere people carry in silence. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself loudly. It simply sits there, day after day, like a shadow that follows you from room to room. You wake up and it is there. You come home from work and it is there. You sit down to rest and somehow, the rest never fully comes. There is a persistent feeling that something is stuck, in your finances, in your relationships, in your creative energy, in your sense of purpose, and no matter what you do, it does not seem to shift. And the painful part is this: you are not lazy. You are not faithless. You are not someone who gave up. You are someone who kept going, kept trying, kept believing, even when results were slow and discouragement was loud. That kind of quiet courage is deeply beautiful. But courage alone, without understanding the deeper layers of what is creating the blockage, can only take you so far. The ancient teachers understood something that modern life has caused many of us to forget. They understood that human beings do not exist in isolation from their environment. You are in constant, invisible conversation with the space around you. The walls of your home, the corners of your rooms, the air that circulates through the place where you sleep and eat and dream, all of it carries energy. All of it is alive in ways that go far beyond what the eye can see. And when that energy becomes stagnant, when it is never cleared, never renewed, never consciously tended to, it begins to act like a dam in a river. The water of abundance, of health, of joy, of opportunity, it is still flowing. It is always flowing. But it cannot reach you, because something invisible is blocking its path. This is the hidden problem. And today, with great gentleness and love, we are going to begin addressing it at its root. To truly understand why stagnant energy collects in our homes and in our lives, we need to look a little deeper, not just at the physical world, but at the invisible world that underlies it. Paramahansa Yogananda spent his entire life pointing seekers toward one fundamental truth, that everything in this universe, at its most essential level, is not matter. It is vibration. It is energy in motion. The chair you sit on, the walls around you, the thoughts passing through your mind right now, all of it is energy, vibrating at different frequencies, interacting with everything around it in ways both seen and unseen. This understanding changes everything. Because once you realize that your thoughts are energy, your emotions are energy, your words are energy, you begin to see that your home is not just a physical structure. It is a living record. Every conversation that ever happened within those walls left an imprint. Every moment of joy, every night of worry, every argument, every prayer, every fear whispered in the dark, all of it wove itself into the energetic fabric of your space. And most of us have never been taught to clear that fabric. We clean our floors. We wash our windows. But we leave the invisible layer untouched, year after year, and wonder why the space never quite feels fully alive. This is not something to feel guilty about. No one taught us this. Modern culture has reduced the home to a physical address, a place to store things, to sleep, to eat. But across centuries and civilizations, the home was understood to be sacred. The ancient Romans kept salt at the threshold of every home. The Japanese practice of purification with salt goes back thousands of years. In the Hindu tradition, salt is used in rituals of cleansing and protection. The Jewish tradition of salting food is deeply connected to the idea of consecration, of making something holy. Across every culture, in every corner of the world, this simple white mineral has been understood as a purifier, not through superstition, but through a deep intuitive knowing about the nature of energy. Modern science even offers a glimpse into why. Salt is hygroscopic, meaning it naturally attracts and absorbs moisture from the surrounding environment. And in the language of energy, this absorption quality extends to the vibrational level as well. Salt draws in what is heavy, what is dense, what is no longer needed, and holds it, allowing the surrounding space to feel lighter, cleaner, and more open to the flow of what is good. But perhaps the most important reason this happens, the reason our spaces become energetically blocked, is because of us. Because of the patterns we carry inside ourselves. Yogananda taught that the outer world is always a reflection of the inner world. If there is worry in your heart, it will eventually show itself in the energy of your home. If there is a deep, subconscious belief that you do not deserve abundance, that life is a struggle, that good things never last, that you must fight for every small blessing, that belief radiates outward, quietly, constantly, and it shapes the very environment around you. The blockage is not just in your home. It is in the story you have been telling yourself, perhaps for years, perhaps inherited from generations before you, about what is possible for your life. And that is exactly where the real healing begins. There is a question that almost every sincere spiritual seeker eventually asks. It comes in moments of quiet frustration, in the stillness after prayer, in the middle of the night when sleep will not come. And the question is this: if I am genuinely trying, if I am faithful, if I am good, then why does my life not reflect that? Why does abundance flow so naturally to some, while for others, every step forward seems to cost so much? Yogananda answered this question not with platitudes, but with profound, compassionate clarity. He taught about karma, not as punishment, not as a cosmic system of reward and blame, but as patterns. Deep, ancient, repeated patterns of thought, belief, and action that have been worn into the soul over time, and that continue to shape the direction of a person's life until they are consciously, lovingly addressed. He used a beautiful image to explain this. Imagine a river flowing across a vast landscape over thousands of years. As the water flows, it wears grooves into the rock beneath it. And over time, the river no longer chooses where to flow, it simply follows the grooves that have already been made. This is what karmic patterns feel like from the inside. You do not experience them as choices. You experience them as simply the way life is. Money always slips away just when you have enough. Relationships always reach a certain point and then dissolve. Opportunities always seem to close just as you reach for them. It does not feel like a pattern, it feels like your destiny. But Yogananda said, very gently and very firmly, it is not your destiny. It is your groove. And grooves can be changed. This is perhaps one of the most liberating teachings in all of spiritual wisdom. You are not condemned to repeat the past. You are not locked into the patterns of your ancestors. You are not the prisoner of old wounds or inherited beliefs or childhood conditioning, not forever. With awareness, with intention, and with consistent, loving practice, the grooves of the soul can be slowly, beautifully reshaped. And this is where practices like placing salt in your home become far more meaningful than they first appear. Because when you perform this practice, when you pick up that ball of salt with full, conscious awareness, and place it with a sincere prayer in your heart, you are not doing something small. You are doing something revolutionary. You are interrupting the automatic flow of an old groove. You are inserting a moment of conscious choice into a pattern that has perhaps been running on autopilot for years, for decades, maybe even longer. You are saying to the universe, and more importantly, to yourself, I am no longer simply going along with what has always been. I am participating. I am choosing. I am ready for something new. And that moment of sincere, humble, loving participation is not a small thing. In the language of the soul, it is enormous. Because transformation never begins with grand gestures. It begins with one small, genuine turning of the heart toward the light. And from that single turning, everything else becomes possible. Sometimes, the most important step on any healing journey is simply learning to recognize the signs that healing is needed. Not with fear. Not with alarm. But with the calm, loving attention of someone who genuinely cares for their own well-being and the well-being of those they share their home with. So let us walk gently through some of the most common signs that the energy in your space, and perhaps in your inner world, may be calling out for renewal. The first sign is unexplained, persistent fatigue. Not the tiredness that comes after a long day of honest work. That kind of tiredness is natural and even beautiful, because it carries the satisfaction of effort. This is a different kind of tired. It is the fatigue that greets you in the morning before the day has even begun. You sleep a full night and wake up feeling as though you never rested. You sit in your own home and feel drained rather than restored. Your space is supposed to replenish you, but instead it seems to quietly take from you. This is one of the clearest signals that the energy of your environment needs attention. The second sign is a low, constant tension in the home that no one can quite explain. Not dramatic conflict, not shouting or crisis, but a persistent undercurrent of irritability, of small misunderstandings that never fully resolve, of conversations that always seem to go slightly sideways. Family members who love each other find themselves snapping at each other over nothing. There is a friction in the air, a kind of invisible friction, and no one knows where it is coming from. Often, it is coming from the accumulated energetic residue of past tensions that were never fully cleared from the space. The third sign is stagnation in financial flow. Again, not catastrophe, but a quiet, stubborn pattern where money never seems to settle, where bills arrive the moment resources appear, where every step forward in financial life seems to be followed immediately by a step back. This kind of financial stagnation often has both a practical and an energetic dimension, and addressing only one without the other rarely produces lasting change. The fourth sign is creative and motivational dryness. The feeling that your spark has dimmed. That the ideas which used to come freely have grown quiet. That things which once excited you now feel flat. This is not laziness, and it is not depression, though it can sometimes feel similar. It is often a sign that the energy field you are living and working within has become too dense, too cluttered with invisible residue, to allow the free flow of inspiration and vitality. And perhaps the most telling sign of all is a subtle but persistent feeling that your home does not fully welcome you. That even in your own space, something feels slightly off. That you cannot fully exhale there. That you are always, in some small way, on guard, as if the place where you live has not yet truly become a place where you can rest. If any of these descriptions feel familiar, please receive them not as a cause for worry, but as a gentle invitation. Life is asking you, very kindly, to turn your attention towards something that needs your care. And now, together, we are going to respond to that invitation. Now we arrive at the heart of what we came here for today. And I want to ask you, before we begin, to bring something with you into this practice that no amount of salt can provide on its own, your sincere intention. Because the greatest spiritual teachers across every tradition have always said the same thing in different words. It is not the ritual that carries power. It is the consciousness behind the ritual. A candle lit with a wandering mind is just a candle. A candle lit with a full and loving heart is a prayer. So as we go through each of these 4 sacred places, I invite you to be present, to be sincere, to let each placement be not just a physical act, but a quiet conversation between you and the divine. Use simple, unprocessed salt. Sea salt or rock salt is ideal, because it is close to its natural form and carries the full integrity of the earth's mineral wisdom. Place it in small open bowls, or directly in the space as described. And change it regularly, disposing of used salt by washing it away with running water, symbolically releasing back to the earth everything that was absorbed. The first place is the main entrance of your home. Your entrance is the threshold between the outer world and your inner sanctuary. It is the energetic mouth of your home, the place through which all energy, all visitors, all opportunities and all challenges first arrive. When this threshold is energetically clear and intentionally tended, it becomes a filter, welcoming what is good and gently deflecting what is not. Place a small open ball of salt near your main entrance, either just inside the door or just outside it, wherever it feels most natural and respectful. As you place it, hold this intention in your heart, and speak it if you feel moved to do so. Say, "May only what is loving, uplifting, and abundant be welcome in this space. May all that is heavy, all that is unwanted, all that does not serve the highest good of this home and everyone within it, be gently turned away at this door." Replace this salt every 2 weeks, and as you do, feel the renewal not just in the ball, but in yourself. The second place is the corners of your main living space. In the science of energy, corners are where flow slows down. They are the still pockets of a room, the places where vibrational residue accumulates over time, just as dust gathers in physical corners no matter how carefully we clean. The corners of the room where your family gathers, where conversations happen, where life is most actively lived, these corners hold the energetic memory of everything that has passed through that space. Place small amounts of salt, a tablespoon or so, directly in each of the 4 corners of this room. As you do, breathe slowly and visualize the salt drawing out gently, like a soft sponge, all the residue of old arguments, old worries, old fears. Your intention here is renewal. Say within your heart, in every corner of this space, let there be peace. Let what is stagnant dissolve. Let the energy of this room be light, open, warm, and welcoming to all that is good. The third place is your bedroom, specifically beneath your bed or near the head of it on the floor. Yogananda spoke with great reverence about the gift of sleep. He taught that during sleep, the soul partially withdraws from the body and enters a state of communion with its deeper nature, a state of healing, of release, of silent receiving. This means that the energy of your bedroom is not a small matter. It is the energy that surrounds you during your most vulnerable and receptive hours. If your bedroom carries the weight of worry, of unresolved sadness, of financial anxiety brought to bed night after night, it subtly disrupts the very healing that sleep is meant to provide. Place a small bowl of salt beneath your bed or at the side of the bed nearest your head. As you place it, offer this prayer from the sincerest part of your heart. While I rest, let this space be sacred. Let my mind and my spirit release what they no longer need. Let me wake each morning renewed, refreshed, and open, open to the abundance, the grace, and the goodness that life is always waiting to give me. Replace this salt once a month and notice, over time, the quiet shift in the quality of your rest. The fourth place is your workspace, the place where your energy meets the world, where your gifts are expressed, where your effort goes out and returns to you in the form of livelihood and opportunity. This might be a home office, a kitchen, a studio, a corner where you create, a desk where you think and plan and build. Whatever form it takes, this space carries enormous energetic significance. It is where your purpose lives. And when that space is heavy with the residue of financial fear, of creative frustration, of past failures that were never emotionally released, it creates an invisible resistance that quietly works against the very prosperity you are striving toward. Place salt here, in a small bowl on your desk, or in the corners of the room, and hold this intention with great warmth and confidence. Say, may this space be a clear and open channel for my highest gifts. May my work flow with ease, with creativity, with joy. May what I offer return to me multiplied, in the form of abundance, of opportunity, and of deep fulfillment. May this be a space where greatness is quietly, steadily, lovingly built. And now, dear friend, we arrive at the place beneath all the other places. The teaching beneath all the other teachings. Because everything we have shared today, the salt, the four sacred corners, the prayers, the intentions, all of it is pointing toward something far greater than a ritual. It is pointing toward a truth that Yogananda returned to again and again throughout his entire life of teaching. And that truth is simply this: you are not powerless. You have never been powerless. You are a conscious, creative, spiritually alive being, and the universe is always, in every moment, responding to the energy you are offering it. Most of us have been living as though life is something that happens to us. As though abundance is a lottery, distributed randomly, held by the fortunate, withheld from the rest without reason or recourse. And this belief, more than any external circumstance, is what keeps the door closed. Because when you believe that you are a passive recipient of life's gifts rather than an active, conscious participant in creating them, you stop sending the signal. You stop having the conversation. You wait, and waiting in resignation is not the same as waiting in faith. Resignation whispers, it will probably not come. Faith whispers, it is already on its way. What placing salt in your home truly does, at the deepest level, is shift you from resignation to participation. That act of picking up a ball of salt, of walking to a corner of your home with intention, of speaking a prayer with a sincere heart, that act is a declaration. It is you saying to yourself, and to the universe, I am not simply waiting anymore. I am choosing. I am tending. I am preparing the ground for what I have asked for. And in that declaration, something shifts. Not just in the energy of your room, but in the energy of your mind. In the story you are telling yourself about what is possible for your life. Yogananda taught that the greatest obstacles to abundance are not outside us. They are the subconscious beliefs we carry about what we deserve, about whether goodness is available to us, about whether we are worthy of ease and joy and plenty. And these beliefs do not dissolve through argument or willpower. They dissolve through experience. Through the slow, gentle accumulation of moments in which we choose differently. In which we act as though abundance is possible, not because we are certain, but because we are willing. This practice is also, at its heart, a practice of release. And release is perhaps the most underestimated spiritual skill there is. We speak often about attracting abundance, about calling things in, about manifesting and receiving. But Yogananda was always equally insistent on the other side of that equation. You cannot fill a cup that is already full. You cannot plant seeds in ground that is packed with old roots. Before receiving, there must be releasing. Before renewal, there must be clearing. And the salt, in its quiet way, is a symbol and a support for that releasing. It takes what is heavy and holds it so that you no longer have to. It gives you permission, in a gentle and tangible way, to let go. So as you move forward from this teaching today, I want to offer you one final invitation. Not just to place salt in the corners of your home, though I deeply hope you will, but to look, honestly and lovingly, at the corners of your own heart. What old story is living there, quietly, that you have not yet given yourself permission to release? What belief about your own worthiness, about what is possible for you, about whether you deserve the abundance you have been praying for, is tucked away in a corner of your inner world, gathering dust and weight and resistance? You do not need to force that story out. You do not need to fight it or judge it or shame yourself for having carried it. Simply notice it. Name it, gently. And then, just as you would place a ball of salt in a corner of your home with a prayer of renewal, place a prayer of renewal in that corner of your heart as well. Say, I am willing to let this go. I am willing to believe something new. I am willing to receive what is truly mine. That willingness, quiet, humble, and sincere, is the most powerful spiritual practice available to any human being. It is the foundation of everything Yogananda ever taught. And it is available to you right now, in this moment, exactly as you are. Not when you are more spiritually advanced. Not when your circumstances improve. Not when you finally feel ready. Right now. In this very moment. The door is open. You only need to walk through it. Before we close today, I want you to take one slow, deep breath with me. Breathe in and breathe out. Let everything you have heard today settle gently into you, like seeds finding their way into soft, ready earth. You came here today for a reason. Maybe you do not fully know that reason yet. But something in you was drawn to this teaching, and that something, that quiet pull toward wisdom, toward healing, toward a better and more abundant life, that is not an accident. That is your soul, recognizing something it has always known but perhaps forgotten for a little while. You do not have to change everything today. You do not have to be perfect, or fully healed, or completely certain. All you need is one small step. Place one ball of salt. Speak one sincere prayer. Make one gentle decision to participate in your own life rather than simply wait for it. That is enough. That single step, taken with love, is more powerful than you know. If this video brought you something today, even one moment of peace, one spark of hope, one thought that made you see your life a little differently, I humbly ask you to share it with someone who might need to hear it. A friend who is struggling. A family member who has lost their spark. A stranger whose heart might be quietly waiting for exactly these words. You never know whose life one small act of sharing might gently touch. And if you feel at home here, if these teachings resonate with the seeker living inside you, please subscribe to this channel and ring the bell, so that every time we sit down together like this, you are the first to know. We show up here every week with the same intention, to offer something real, something deep, something that goes beyond the surface of life and touches what is true. Now, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me, which of the 4 sacred places are you going to place salt in first? Is it your entrance, your living room corners, beneath your bed, or in your workspace? Write it below and let this community of sincere seekers witness your intention. There is quite power in declaring what you are ready for, even in a simple comment. Do not underestimate it. And here is one more thing I want to ask you. This channel exists because of you, because of your curiosity, your openness, your hunger for wisdom that actually means something. So tell me in the comments, what do you want to explore next? What question lives in your heart that you have not yet found a true answer to? What teaching, what topic, what area of your spiritual or inner life do you want us to sit with together in the next video? Write it below. I read every single comment, and your voice genuinely shapes what we create here. Because this is not just a channel. It is a conversation. between ancient wisdom and modern life, between the teacher and the seeker, between what has always been true and the person who is finally ready to receive it. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your open heart. Thank you for caring enough about your own life to spend this time in reflection and learning. That choice, to keep growing, to keep seeking, to keep believing that something better is possible, that choice is itself a form of abundance. And I honor you deeply for making it. Until we meet again, tend your space with love, guard your thoughts with gentleness, and remember always, abundance is not something you find. It is something you become. Jai Guru Dev.